So on that note, I mean, if somebody is looking to automate the, the accounts receivable and purchasing process, what's your advice? What should they look for in a system?
It'll be different for different people. It's mostly like buying a point of sale system. Some businesses need this, businesses need this, right? So, for instance, in our organization, we don't do, and this is our hospitality organization, we don't do any procurement of beverage through Lightyear, right? It's just because we work with a number of bespoke suppliers on the procurement, right, of product and meat, things like that. So we don't do that, but we do a purchase order for everything else. Whereas other organizations who are don't have that sort of artisan buying that we sort of do, they would be able to, for instance, they're basically ordering 75 kilos of this sort of meat and all of this sort of stuff. You can't put everything through a Lightyear and actually, bring up all your products that you order from the supplier and just order it that way. So it's different for different people. Some people use, the platforms that go and negotiate, 2-ply, 4.5-inch napkins in white on your behalf, and you just order 2-ply, 4.5-inch napkins, and they run off and basically then work out who's going to supply to you. So difficult for me to say what you should be looking for. It's different for every organization.
Okay. But obviously, one of the things we picked up on in the start of the conversation is obviously, a solution that's cloud-based, that automated, that has that sort of almost, as you said, you've replicated the in-tray, out-tray approval process, something that streamlines that.
I would agree with that. So yes, sorry to maybe come back to that first question. You're right. I wouldn't be looking at anything that's not cloud-based. I would definitely have a customizable approvals workflow built in. Yep. There are a number of procurement or accounts payable solutions that don't have an approvals workflow. So on the AP side, some things go into zero, then your approvals workflow basically, or your approval software brings it out of zero, allowing you to approve it, and then basically drops it back into zero. Well, that makes no sense to me. I want data in my accounting software only to be there once it's actually been approved, right? Similarly on the procurement side, right? So I think flexibility on where you can order from. You want to be able to order from your phone, or you want to be able to order from any computer. So that's your cloud-based, and then with some sort of approvals workflow built in as well would be the baseline for me. If it doesn't have that, I wouldn't be touching it. But I think most of them do have that now. I mean, the world has certainly moved on the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, look, the world has changed a lot in the last 2 or 3 years, without a doubt. I think, and we were talking about this at the start as well, sometimes people are so busy, they're not sure what they should be looking at. And, you do see mistakes. You see people sort of buying systems and it's like, oh my gosh, why have you bought sort of an on-premise system that is based on this when everything now is cloud-based and it's just so much more flexible, and you've probably even paid too much for it.
Yeah, and I think you're right on that. I mean, people think that implementing something like a Lightyear is a huge, upheaval. We got to dedicate a month to this thing, and off we go. I remember when we were conceptualizing how to do this accounts payable thing back in 2011. If we were in a hospitality group, we were processing about 34,000 bills a year. Some of those bills were getting manually entered into point of sale. Then all bills were getting manually entered into MYOB, desktop back in the day. And, that was line by line coding, right? And it was expensive. So back then when we went to the custom, we were losing pieces of paper all over the place, right? They were going into the guy's back pocket. He was going home on the bus, not wanting to admit he had the bill. He threw it out. We never got the bill. And the one thing we noticed when we were contacting all of the suppliers to say, hey, I think we're missing some invoices, they were like, where do you want us to email the PDF? Yeah. I was like, hold on, right? Everyone can email a PDF. And so the only thing that you need to do with Lightyear is basically get the PDFs into Lightyear, and Lightyear does all of the rest, all of the automatic coding, routing it to the people whose job it is to approve it, and then getting the data into your point of sale system and into your accounting software. So it's actually not a huge implementation, but I think people do think that this is going to be something that I need to dedicate a lot of time to, but it's a very simple process. We're just basically extracting the data from the metadata within a supplier's PDF. The supplier does nothing different. They just email it in, and we know they can do that.
Yep.
And sort of across the Lightyear network in the hospitality and aged care space in Australia, it's over 97% of documents are coming into Lightyear accounts as a system generated PDF. We're way down to, only a couple of percent of scans. Whereas if I go back to 2012, 2013, it was 75% coming in as system generated PDFs and 25% scans. So the world has moved on. Everyone's emailing the PDF automatically with the piece of paper, and you just throw your piece of paper away, so to speak.
Yeah, as you were saying before, the piece of paper is primarily a packing list. If you're having some fresh produce delivered, you're basically verifying, against that invoice or packing list stroke invoice.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah, and seller guys want that, right? It's my sanity check. But once it goes onto the clipboard, it's like that's just to remind me that delivery did come in, so that when I'm looking at the invoice in Lightyear, I can just go, yeah, got that, and just click the green button in Lightyear and just shred the piece of paper.
And as a supplier to the hospitality industry as well, it's a godsend, because we, a couple of years ago, many years ago, but we had to implement a process that when an invoice was due, we would actually call the finance department to make sure it was in the system, because we'd supplied a product to the engineer or the housekeeper. And, then we're obviously expecting to be paid on a certain date. We found that when we were following up, it's like, well, we don't have that. And then we'd have to go back to the person we supplied it to, and it's like, I haven't approved that yet. And so what we're saying is that if it's automatically, sent into the system, then it alleviates, from a supplier's point of view as well, the issue that paperwork can get lost, and you can be better than normal.
Yeah, so we this is data from our hospitality group. I haven't looked at all of Lightyear, but the average time from a bill hitting Lightyear to getting into the accounting software is 3.1 days, and that includes weekends, right? And the other part of Lightyear is Lightyear takes the statements from your suppliers and automatically reconciles the statements from the suppliers and identifies any documents you may not have in Lightyear, and then you can one-click ask for copies to be sent in. So what that does as well is, from a supplier's perspective, there is no chance, so long as it's been emailed in, of the bill actually not getting in front of the person whose job it is to approve it. From a customer sense, it means the fast approval of bills.
Yep.
And that has allowed us, we've got a number of suppliers, 21, 28, 35 days, but who offer us early settlement discount on 7 and 10 day payment. Okay. And we can avail of that 7 and 10 day early settlement discount from those suppliers. So again, it's sort of offering a bit of a discount. The funds are there. I may as well take the discount on the purchase, as opposed to just sitting on the money for another 21 days, earning nothing. May as well take it somewhere, right?
Very good point. Very good point.